I have been super hyped for this Jim Legxacy mixtape ever since Father came out. Once that track came out, I was fully on board the Jim Legxacy train. I'd liked some of his stuff before. I think Citadel is actually a bit of an underrated album, actually. I think it's pretty good. Doesn't get talked about even by Jim Legxacy fans, to be honest, which is a little bit strange. But I do think there are some good songs in his catalogue. But Father was the one that had me locked in, man. That was the track right there. The sampling on that track is magical. I think it really is intertwined within the song incredibly well. There's a Mitski reference. You just don't hear that usually in songs. Yeah, I think the whole thing just works incredibly well. I think its only detriment is how short it is. I could listen to that song for another 2 minutes at least beyond the 1 minute 40, whatever it is, length that the track is. Like I would only say you could extend that out for even longer and I would be more than happy. And I think that's kind of the general gist of this mixtape, really. Jim Legxacy hitting you with these really short, snappy ideas, straight to the point, doesn't overstay its welcome. And a lot of the tracks do kind of hit about 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30, which isn't a detriment to the whole tape. But yeah, I think that's kind of the point of what he's trying to do. Short and snappy and infectious, earwormy tracks. And the whole thing for me delivers. I think this is definitely one of my favorite whole releases of the year. I'm just loving the youthful energy that's coming through. It's a real sweet vibe. There's just this laid back, carefree style that he has to his vocal delivery, to the melodies, and he is incredibly sharp with melodies too. Like, he has these little vocal melodies that he does repeat often throughout the tape on many of the tracks, but they're so sticky, they're so catchy, and he's kind of bringing to the table something that I don't know if many other UK hip-hop artists are really bringing to the table at all. If you could even really say he's fully UK hip-hop, because a lot of these tracks do delve into different styles, different sounds, but the versatility is a massive pro here. Sometimes artists like to kind of dart around on different sounds for their albums, and it doesn't always bring the best results. I don't think that can be said about Jim here. I think actually he is very versatile and is very comfortable over different types of instrumentals and different styles. Sun is a good example where we've got this like Afro swing sound to it. It's got this like dancehall feel, which is just quite out there comparatively to other tracks. When you listen to a Father and then you listen to this, you wouldn't really think they're from the same album, but yet they work, it fits, it flows really well. It's got that similar sound to Citadel. If you did listen to Citadel, you'd hear that he was doing that there too. He's kind of carrying that over here. There's a little J Hus interpolation as well, which makes the sound of the track make a lot more sense because J Hus dives into those sounds too, especially if you are familiar with the UK hip-hop scene. You would know that this sound is quite common and utilized a lot by a lot of these artists in this scene. I personally just don't know if all of the artists that are in this scene always nail the sound that they're trying to do. It gets in the charts, it gets popular, some of it's good, obviously I'm not saying it's all bad, but I don't know if it all kind of works out well for me in the same way that it does maybe for other fans of these artists. But I think Jim actually is nailing it completely on his first try. And it actually reminds me quite a little bit of when FK Twigs did a Capri Songs, which got a little bit of a mixed response amongst the fans, but I think it's one of her best projects overall for me personally. I think she nails everything she tries there. And the fact that she's doing this sound so well and incorporating all these different styles of, you know, UK hip-hop and Afro beats, Afro swing, dancehall, all that kind of stuff, kind of randomly, but piecing it all together just reminds me a lot of Jim Legxacy here. I think he's doing a similar thing. It feels random at times, but he is piecing it together, and it just creates such a nice, smooth vibe. Perfect example being the track with Dave, who is no stranger to these sounds himself, who has kind of delved into that in his own music. I've kind of been mixed about Dave before. I've done a couple of reviews of his stuff on my channel. They've not always been received too well in the comments because people love Dave, right? But yeah, for me personally, I've always felt like he's not quite nailing what he's trying to go for. But Jim kind of needed to bring out the coolness, man. Jim's got that swag. Jim's got the swag, and he needed to bring it out, Dave, because Dave sounds great here, and the whole song is really, really sweet. And I think this actually could be a good chance for Jim to make it onto the charts, to be honest. I think this song could do well in that kind of, I guess, UK crowd who love this sound. On the flip side of this, there are even some tracks that have a way more rawer, rockier punk energy coming through, like 06 Wayne Rooney, and also the track DBAB, which I think stands for Don't Be a Bee. Don't be a bee. I'm not saying that word. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, which I think are both great as well. I think the DBAB, I think, has definitely more of a raw, ruckus, kind of rugged sound to it, with the lyrics that just kind of feel a bit more messy and that kind of thing. But 06 Wayne Rooney, man, this track right here, I've already seen clips of 06 Wayne Rooney playing with this song playing over it. It works very nicely. I've got to call out Jim Legxacy a little bit, because he'd have been about 3 years old in 2006. So I don't know if he knows Wayne Rooney like that. But us older folk, I'm not that much older, right? I'm not that much older. But us older folk who are a little bit older know Wayne Rooney well. And yeah, I think it's a great little track. Reminds me so much of Gene Dawson. I'm just really happy since Pixel Bath and Chaos Now that I am hearing a lot of albums that I have mentioned on this channel that are reminding me of Gene Dawson. I don't know if there's just a big influence there, but that Kevin Abstract album as well sounded exactly like anything Gene would do. Tizo Touchdown is also trying to be the next Gene as well. Like, I'm liking this sound coming through. I'm liking this influence coming through. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think this time around, it works incredibly well. I think Jim Legxacy sounds great over this. Again, it's got this kind of like nostalgic feel to it. It feels like I'm listening to something in the 2000s, which is really cool. Maybe some like block party vibes as well. It's great, honestly. And again, the fact that this goes in a track list with all these other tracks that don't even touch this sound, and yet it feels at home, that's impressive in its own right. That summary sound on SOS comes back again. Another great track for me on this album. Very laid back. Got that kind of Afro swing sound, Afro beat sound coming through again. Great stuff. Stick was another single before the album coming out. This track again has a really nice nostalgic feel. Love, again, the melodies. It's all so sharp here. And the kind of repetition of like stick, 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 I think is really effective. Yeah, man, like, it's hard to really talk about this album without you just listening to it and hearing how kind of catchy and melodic the whole thing is, because there are so many artists in this kind of rap lane at the moment that will have these melodic tracks and have these little melodic kind of like hooks within the tracks. And I'm not entirely always sold on it. I don't necessarily think it always works too well, but I think Jim is like a cheat code at the moment. Like, I think this is the best of its kind coming through with all these other like genre dives as well in the album itself. It's very, very good. The final song is like this wholesome, really sweet, softer cut, which feels a little bit more emotional. Yeah, I think the entire album just has all sorts of different things coming through, and it works very well. It works really well. It never feels like he's darting around and not being concise. It never feels like he's not being consistent with the sound or anything. It always feels like Jim is sticking to what he knows well, doing it and pushing his boundaries a little bit, trying something new, trying something different, and everything is sticking for me. I think the whole thing is fantastic. I was tempted to go higher, but I don't know, man. I feel like I'm maybe jumping the gun a little bit. But I will say 8.5 out of 10 for now. I think my brain couldn't comprehend if I called this album 9 out of 10. Would that make sense? I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too tentative. And that's okay. I think sometimes it's better to be that way rather than jumping the gun immediately with an album that's just come out a few days ago. Like, I don't want to be doing that. I've never done that on this channel. So I think 8.5 is very fair. But yeah, honestly, the fact that I'm saying it could be a 9 is basically another way of saying I think this might be my favorite release of the entire year so far. And that's as high praise as it can get, really. And I think there'll be some people that won't be completely sold on this. That's fine. But I think if you're tapped into the sounds that he's trying to do, and you're appreciative of the sounds he's trying to do, and you want some of that more melodic hip-hop sounds, the Afro beat sounds, you want that, yeah, I think you will appreciate that. Jim is doing it incredibly well. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I think this guy could be a huge next big thing, really, and I love it. Hopefully you guys agree. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you disagree? What's your favorite track? Hear the album, then come back to me if you haven't already heard it. Tell me what I should review next. Have a good day, and goodbye.